What's going on, y'all? Grind and Motivate back in this thing again, man, with another video. And today we want to weigh in on a Brooklyn shooter, man. And I guess we'll see a little bit of why he did it and how he did it and what ended up, I guess, what were the results of what he did. Let's check this article out. All right, the article's by the New York Times. Title is "Why No One Died When a Gunman Opened Fire on the Subway," because he's trash in all areas. But let's get it. Nope. While 33 bullets were sprayed from his Glock handgun, they wounded only 10 passengers. More than a dozen other people were injured, some of them choking on smoke from the two devices the police said Frank R. James detonated before he started shooting. So Frank watched a little Call of Duty before he did this. He was just so... As the police announced the capture of Mr. James on Wednesday, the city steadied itself after an attack that has no equivalent in the subway's history, and the release of more victims from hospitals underscored a remarkable truth. Not one person died. That is good. And we have a quote here. "I don't understand the physics of it. He's feet away from people with a firearm that's designed to kill people, and no one got killed," said Paul M. Barrett, the author of The Glock, Rise of America's Gun. "I think it's either tremendous luck or a miracle." So I guess this guy's really advocating for Glocks, and he's probably like, "Man, why did my gun work?" It sounded like he kind of like was hoping somebody would have passed away from it. Why did my gun work? The Glock is one of the best American weapons.
I don't think so. I think he just understands how powerful, like the kind of damage this gun can cause.
Yeah, and then at the same time, it's like, I wish it would have showed off its firepower, because I got two-way.
No, because if it actually showed the firepower, your gun probably will be banned, and then the sale's gonna go down. So from a businessman perspective,
so he should be happy then.
Yeah,
he don't sound happy.
You don't know that. You made the tone up. You're the one reading it.
You're right. So next we have, in some ways the city has been spared. There will be no memorial wreaths or votive candles laid at the 36th Street subway stop in Sunset Park, Brooklyn, where the attack occurred, and there will be no funerals to attend. That's great. Whether it was a result of fate, fortune, a malfunctioning 9mm handgun, or poor marksmanship, what became clear as details emerged about Mr. James, a 62-year-old with addresses in Philadelphia and Wisconsin. Wisconsin is one of the degenerate states of America to me. Is how much worse the attack could have been. And shout out to Duke and Don and Primal Studies. I know y'all from Wisconsin and y'all are different guys, but yeah, from what I've been seeing, Wisconsin has a lot of degenerates. Mr. James has been charged with federal crime of committing a terrorist act on a mass transit system. At about 8:30 a.m., Mr. James, according to police, pulled on a gas mask while riding an N train and dropped two devices that filled the car with smoke. He then began firing the first of three 30-round capacity magazines into the car. Such extended capacity magazines are illegal in New York State. After firing off one entire magazine, Mr. James loaded a second into his handgun, according to a senior law enforcement official with knowledge of the case, and squeezed off three more rounds. At that point, based on the capacity of the three magazines, one discovered in the gun, another on the subway car's floor, and the third in a backpack, Mr. James had at least 57 more bullets at his disposal. So that's why I'm pretty thankful that I guess the gun jammed at that point, because he could have really put some real damage. Then the gun jammed. We have a quote here. Should I read it in a voice? No. "If that gun didn't jam, the probability of somebody dying is very high," said Detective Paul Giordano, president of Detectives Endowment Association. "God had to be watching out over that train. I got to tell you that." Yeah, he's right. The type of malfunction that occurred is known as a double feed, according to the senior law enforcement official, which occurs when the gun's extractor fails to remove a spent casting. The next round is pulled from the magazine but cannot go forward because it is blocked by the casing. According to Lenny Magel, founder of the chief executive of Glock Store, a Nashville-based company that sells and distributes Glock parts and accessories online, such malfunctions can happen when a gun's internal mechanisms are clogged with dirt or when a magazine is attached that is not compatible with the handgun, Mr. Magel said. Mr. James' high-capacity magazines were not made by Glock, according to the senior law enforcement official. So he didn't even do his research. He got the trash parts. The handgun was on his fourth owner, according to the law enforcement official. It was sold new in Texas in 2006 and resold in Georgia, then Massachusetts, and then finally to Mr. James, who bought it legally in Columbus, Ohio in 2011. Interesting. It been passed around. Next, the gunman fired the Glock might also have spared lives. I mean, the way that he fired it also spared lives. Several victims, like Harari Binkata, 27, who said he was sitting next to the gunman on the N train at the time of the attack, were shot in their lower limbs. Mr. Binkata told CNN that a bullet had gone through the back of his knee. That's crazy. So I guess he'll be not walking for a while. Rudy Perez, 20, a construction worker, was struck in his left leg. The location of the injuries in the lower parts of the victims' bodies can indicate that the man was shooting from his hip, keeping the gun low, Mr. Madrill said, and thus throwing off his aim. Luckily, he wasn't a skilled person with a gun, Mr. Madrill added. They're throwing little digs in there a little bit, it's not really bad. A number of victims were treated for smoke inhalation from the devices the gunman detonated. The devices filled the car with vapor as passengers covered their faces and fought to breathe. That fog may have also saved lives. Detective Butter have prevented the attacker from seeing his own victims clearly. Quote, he ignited those canisters that made it difficult for even him to see. So he was having a horrible plan. Next, that no one was killed may have come as a surprise to the man who the police say was behind the shooting the day before the attack. Mr. James posted a video online in which he said he had often wanted to kill. He added that he wished he could, quote, watch people die right in front of him. But even after the chaos and carnage of Tuesday morning, no one would die. So that's the end of the video right there. So
the article.
Yeah, the end of the article rather. Yeah, thank you. But you know they say that he's a guy who champions the Manosphere. He's like he was a fan of Kevin Samuels and other Manosphere content creators, and people were saying that now they're kind of investigating those different guys. Do you think that what a person watches on YouTube it affects them, and then at the same time, do you think that the people that they watch on YouTube should they be held accountable for what kind of actions that person commits out in the real world?
I think so.
You think so?
Yeah.
Okay. What's up?
Because for people that already have like mental illness or like already like delusional about the reality and his like own imaginative world, right?
Yeah, right.
He could be watching something like he could be like watching say like a movie that has violence in it, or he could be listening to all these like content creators talking about how like, oh, you're a high value man and these people deserve to die if they treat you a certain way, right? In an extreme way, and then he could be like confused about it, and then that could push him to do something. So that's why I feel like one thing is we need to kind of have a censor. Like I feel like for people that are like this, I'm not sure if this guy is like mentally ill, but like definitely for people that are, I think the kind of content they can get in touch with needs to be controlled.
Yeah, but how can you control it? You just literally said, what if he was watching a movie? So that means we have to control every single thing that comes out now? So nobody can watch anything.
For those mentally ill people, yes.
Yeah, but how do we know? Because there are so many people walking around that haven't gotten any psychiatrist help. They're just walking around. They think they're okay, but they're not really okay. How do we know this? Do we have to do mandatory psych evals for everybody now?
Maybe it's easier just to take away the gun.
So no guns for anybody.
Like yeah, you can watch TV watching people shooting each other, but like you can get one in real life. Or like for people who have like do a psychoanalysis before a person purchases a gun.
Okay.
You know?
That's
like,
the best one, yeah.
Yes, like to make sure you're not selling it to a psycho. Like he can have a very clear credit score and a good like social background check and all that. But that doesn't mean he's a good fit to be a gun owner. Yeah,
there should be a lot of questions and images shown and all kind of things.
Exactly.
You should ask him this happened. What do you think about that?
I know it might lower the rate that guns are being sold. It might lower the profitability of those gun store owners and all of that companies. But I think that's something that needs to be considered.
Yeah, nobody should just be able to just get a gun just because they meet the age requirements and don't have a background.
And if you passed and you got the gun, it's not cool that you gift this gun to your son, your teenage son, who may or may not be a sociopath. Right. Like how those idiot Ethan Crumley's parents, all three of them are idiots, need to be slapped up. But I don't know, like what you said about the content creators being held accountable. I think what you said would probably be the best way to nip that in the bud. I don't think that you can really fully hold content creators in accountable for that. I think to a degree, but like
like we have to think about like this dude's like 62. He's old enough to understand like, hey, bro, like this is not right. Like, yeah, he was already a loser, and he was mentally off. But it's like, bro, like you're a loser and you're weak minded to the point where like you feel like, oh, I need to man, like he was literally like on there like on some Kevin Samuels, like, yeah, these ladies ain't nothing, man. They ain't nothing. They ain't nothing. That's why they modern women and all this kind of stuff. And you know, that's why he was mad. I guess he was like they were calling him a boomer cell in the comments because he's like an old dude, ain't getting no play. He's like a weirdo, but I don't know. I just think it's like I don't know. I think to a degree it's like it's not fully on them. Like it's like if you have a weak person that can't think critically for themselves, they know when something's wrong. I can see like certain things like there are certain things we know that experience plays a role in it, but we know that we shouldn't kill people.
But I feel like a lot of times people in the Manosphere target those weak minds because the end goal is to sell their own course, sell their consultation program. And who's going to buy them? Those people that are suffering, they're struggling, they think their life is worthless. They desperately need to get out of their situation. They're going to fall for those traps. So that's why I feel like if those Manosphere people are targeting those weak-minded ones, then you have to like censor what kind of things to say.
That's real, and I'm not saying it like I'm defending the Manosphere guys or anything like that, because I think they say some bullshit, some retarded things. But I just don't know. Like I don't know. I just don't think that. I just think that it's like
for example, what's the guy's name with the colored mustache and he's selling bags all the time, holding the bags.
Mr. Organic.
Yes, like for example, he try to kind of like promote one of this gambling site or something?
Yeah, he still is.
Yeah, so it's like he's taking advantage of those followers that think they can make easy money by doing the gambling. Right? And what's gonna happen if those people lose all of their money? They're gonna become desperate.
Right.
And what they're gonna do, they're gonna be like feeling bitter some kind of way, and they're probably like, I don't know, it's just like there's a lot of consequences in terms of the decision you make in life. Like you can be the decision number one that lead to a lot of like bad decisions, you know? So I think in that case, like, can Mr. Organics be blamed on because he made this guy started using that gambling site and then he lost his money and he just had to kill his whole family? Maybe not. He probably can get away with it because he didn't tell the guy to kill his family. But he definitely should be held responsible for, you know, what he could potentially done to someone's life by giving them advice that he personally would not take.
What should be the punishment for that?
Like when you're saying something on the internet, I just think it should be censored. Like, is gambling site legal in the States?
I'm guessing so. Yeah, I'm guessing so. Yeah.
It's a weird place.
It's weird. Like certain places it ain't legal, and then other places it's legal. You can bust some prostitutes in one place, and then other places you better not even look at a girl. Right. Yeah, it's I don't know.
Sorry, but I don't know. I just felt like there needs to be some kind of like cyber law or cyber bill kind of like enforced. That's not there yet, you know, because I think cyber bullying goes both ways, you know.
Yeah.
Not bullying, but like, you know what I mean. It's a weird space.
I don't know what you mean. What do you mean? Tell me what you mean.
It's like, if you really think about it, it's like, yes, it seems like those content creators are like, they get attacked by these anonymous keyboard warriors all the time, right? So it can be one form of cyberbullying. But at the same time, if they actually are finger pointing someone and be like, that guy's lame because he did this, because he's a pedophile. Because of their followings, their big number of followings, people are going to believe it for a while. People are going to believe in whatever they say for a while because of their followings. And that's like another form of cyberbullying from the big name content creator to another individual.
Now that you say that, I actually think I might have to change my stance on content creators being held accountable, because I think about it, and YouTube has taught me this, that that people are really retards. Like they no matter what a person does, they'll still follow behind them. Like the video I was just back there looking at, like I was like in awe of what these people were saying. And even when we watched that one guy's channel, that now he gets the most trash advice ever, people are still in the comments like, man, thank you for doing this. Like your advice is garbage. but people are still doing it. And then like even Kevin Samuels, you have people in there worshiping him as if he came to their house and made a house call and he changed their life, got them off the floor. Stupid.
And I know like a lot of YouTubers be complaining about how strict the YouTube like policy censoring policy is, right?
Yeah.
But if you really think about it, I think a lot of it is necessary because if, say, I have 1 million followers, right? Mm-hmm. And today somehow this person just pissed me off and I have this person's phone number, I have their address, I can just post it on my channel and be like, this person bullied me today. I'm so sad. Please help me out. And all of my followers probably will be like, you know, like texting that person some crazy messages. Or
kind of like Batman when Riddler had them folks coming out there. He had a whole bunch of losers, incels come out there and try to blow the mayor away.
Baby, this is real life.
No, but that's just an example. That's all.
Yeah, you're always quoting examples from your animation world.
No, that was from the movie that you went to sleep on. Cause you are whack. You went to sleep on the Batman movie.
I was so exhausted, but I still went to watch a movie with him because he wanted company.
Oh nope. I could have went myself.
Okay.
But you were like, yeah, well, I want to go. You don't want me to go.
That's not what I said. I don't sound like that at all.
But you wouldn't say something like that?
No, I'd be like, can we watch something else? I don't want to watch that.
There was nothing else out. You know that.
I don't want to watch
Batman.
that.
But anyway, what do you guys think about that, man? Do you think that the Manosphere guys or these internet guys should watch what they say a little more and be held accountable for the way that maybe they have their fan base thinking? Or do you think it's like, man, he fought weak, man. He fought weak as hell, man. They need to be able to discern for themselves. I don't know, man. I said that. I don't know. I think you do still need to be able to discern for yourself. Like, people aren't just like, I don't know, people are retards, but at the same time, it's like, bro, think for yourself. Golly.
What you mean, think for yourself?
Like when it comes to red pill stuff, I always would tell people like, yeah, you don't take everything from the red pill. Certain things aren't right. Like, you know when things aren't right. So you need, I guess, as they say, eat the meat, spit out the bones kind of thing.
But it's the same as, for example, you'll be asking your friends, right? Be like, oh, should I break up with her? You know, or should I stay with her? What should I do with her? Give me some advice. It's like, you know exactly what you need to do, but why are you asking your friends then? So I think it's the same as people looking on YouTube for advice. Like, they know deep down.
Normally when you know what you're supposed to do, you do that thing anyway. So does that mean that this guy was already in thoughts of being a loser incel shooter, and now that he went on there, he just saw that he thought that modern women were degenerates because he watched a specific type on Fresh and Fit and Kevin Samuels, and now he's like, I know, I made my decision. Let's do it.
Yeah, I feel like maybe they're looking for reassurance on the internet. Be like, oh, this kind of thought is okay. It's normal. Okay. A lot of people are like me. I'm not weird, and people actually want to do it.
That is real. So it's more like it's not like that they're actually like telling you to do it and they warped your mind, but it's like you already were doing it and now they kind of give you like an okay to make you feel like it's, oh man, I can do that.
Yeah, just for example, if I'm a guy that wants to cheat on my girl, right? Yeah. And I'm like, damn, am I a bad person for thinking this way? Yeah. I'm gonna go on the internet and be like, oh, guys all want to cheat. They're the same. Well, I'm just a regular guy then. Yeah, I watch Kevin Samuels. Now I'm cheating through the city. It's like, I'm just conforming to my masculinity. That's why I'm cheating. Okay. Yeah. Huh. Okay. So that's like a way of getting away with what you think. Like, we're kind of like trying to skew your standard. Right. Based out of what other people are saying. It's like, if the majority of people here are saying it's okay to do it, you know, of course I'm gonna think it's okay. Okay. Yeah, so that's a scary thing though, because if you think about it, in the internet world, it's like all those people that are subscribing to a channel, they think alike. So you're basically looking for like advice. So for example, you're looking for a cooking advice from a bunch of cavemen, and of course you're gonna be like, oh, use the arrow and kill that deer over there, instead of like, go to the market and buy yourself a fish. A fish, chemical? It's a fish. Okay, a fish. Yeah, so it's like, come on, you're not really giving yourself a lot of options because you're asking cavemen. Yeah. Of course, they're gonna be go out hunting. Yeah. I guess that's easier said than done to tell people to go look for things outside of their own mind.
But you're right though. Yeah, people are just out there just going echo chamber shout and looking. Oh yeah, I want to look at this, and he's saying exactly what I want to hear. And then this guy saying the same thing too, and then him over there too. Because you look, if you look through the comments on all these different channels, you see some of the same guys. So yeah, that's pretty real. Yeah. That is real. I guess we do have to hold guys a little bit more accountable for the way that they make people think. I guess. Yeah.
I know we started with the.
But at the same time, people should be weak, mentally weak. Like you shouldn't be able to skew yourself. But then we already said that they already were thinking that. So. Yeah.
I think people all have their moment of weakness. There's nothing to be ashamed of if you felt that way because. Like I was super stressed 2 weeks ago. I had freaking shingles that's like common around 50, 60 years old, right? It's like my body telling me, hey, you're stressed out,
right?
Even though I wasn't really feeling it. So I think, of course, people are gonna have those moments of weakness, but how you deal with it is going to show if you're like a strong-minded person or if you're just gonna give in to all those like negative thoughts that you have, that's where the line's being drawn. And there are so many help that can be provided out there. You know, like there's this app called Better Help or Better Help. I don't remember.
Yeah. I don't know. Yeah. So basically, I guess getting real help instead of getting on YouTube is probably the best answer. Like you need to go to a real therapist or psychiatrist or something like that, and not go on YouTube and think that that's going to solve all your problems. Basically.
Yeah, and I think talking to your friends can be helpful, but again, your friends might be someone that's super similar to you, so they're not gonna actually.
So it's another echo chamber of cavemen.
Right. Yeah. Or you just end up telling your friends the same story over and over again, and they get tired with it. So. Yeah.
You know how they caught the guy?
I know. He called the police.
Oh nah, but you know his fat ass was eating.
No, he actually phoned the police when he was watching.
I know. Yeah, I know that. I think he told me that, but his fat ass was eating, and the guy was like, "Hey, yeah, these guys here."
Yeah.
So his fat ass was eating. His fat ass couldn't even show any discipline at the end of his tenure in free world.
No, what I'm thinking is after you did all this, you have the appetite to eat. So I think he's definitely something else.
Yeah, he's a fat, degenerate, weird. Mentally off loser. He's definitely mentally unstable.
But like, I want to also talk more about all these like victims because obviously no one died, and people were like, "Oh, no one died. It's only like people injured."
Right.
But if you think about it, it's like the second person we read. He's a construction worker, right?
Yep.
And he had a bullet in his leg, so he can't work for a duration of time. So how are they going to be compensated? You know, it's like, is the state going to be responsible, or the municipal government going to be responsible for this? Because it's the lack of security on the subway. Like you guys don't scan people. Like for example, subway in China, we do all those like metal scans to make sure nobody brings any like gas stuff.
And you know what's bad? New York's supposed to be like no guns and all that kind of stuff. And then they said during the situation that the cameras were cut off or something like that. So that's weird. The cameras were cut off and like there's some power, the lines of communication weren't working, or I don't know. It was just all stupid. So I feel like those people definitely are owed some compensation because even though they didn't get killed, both guys said they got shot in the leg. One guy said the bullet went through his knee. He'll never be the same again. He'll never run fast. He'll never do it. He'll never jump or whatever without having some pain. So I don't know. That's tough. Even though they didn't get killed, they still have injuries that are going to be long lasting and affect their life. So that's garbage. That guy's garbage, and
it's just like this one garbage 62-year-old guy who probably, I don't know if he can get a death penalty. He probably will end up in prison forever, right? So he still gets to live in prison with a bed and food, all that, and all these people's lives that he changed forever are going to be like suffering.
They probably will hit him with a death penalty due to the severity. Like even though he didn't get nobody up, it's gonna still be like a lot of. Well, maybe he won't. Maybe they'll be like, "Oh, it was just attempted murder. We don't want him to die." I don't know. Weird loophole law. But then again, he is black, so they'll make an exception to go and get him out of there.
So it's like every time we talk about gun-related issues, there's always people that are super like pro-gun, saying how no, we can't take away gun from people.
Right.
You know, it has to be there.
Yeah.
But like. Yeah, like I don't disagree with certain people can have the right to hold guns, but once again, how did
China's
this even
like that.
happen?
China's like that, right? So how do you feel that has?
You can't purchase
helped?
gun on the market if you're just a civilian, like a regular
Right.
civilian, right? So it's like if you actually want to do something bad, you either have to get a gun from a black market, which is probably extremely hard,
Yep.
or you just have to do knife fight or fist fight.
Right. And you said the policemen don't even have guns.
I
Unless
think
you're like
they
a certain
do,
level.
but I think they have to register in and out.
Oh.
So like when you are off duty,
Yeah.
you have to like register back into the
Right.
into like the.
And how do you feel that has affected the people of China not being able to have guns? Because like the basic American thing here is like you hear like a redneck white guy like, well, how are we gonna fight back if the government does this to us? Well, how are the people gonna fight back? Is that really a thing? Or?
I feel like people here fight back because they feel like they own the same weapon as the police force. So it's like, hey, you have a gun, I have a gun. Why am I afraid of you, you sucker? You know?
Yeah.
But like, I do feel like China's kind of different. You know, like the whole system is different. But like people definitely do give the policemen more respect. And it's like, like you wouldn't see.
From what you said, it seems like it's a little bit more of a respectful situation going on over there. Like, whereas here, like, even people didn't even want to put on masks to protect the other people.
Right.
So.
But but since we're talking about this, you know what's really interesting? Like, my mom shared with me this news about Brooklyn subway.
Yeah.
And she was saying how there's so many people dying, and then it's like, you know, like New York, probably a lot of people gonna lose like faith in New York safety, and they're gonna move out of New York and all that. And I was like, Mom, you know what? Like at least nobody died from this incident, which is really good. And I don't know if I can say the same thing about what's going on in Shanghai right now.
Oh yeah, that ain't looking good at all.
No.
I would definitely move out after that. I'm out. Yeah.
But again, I don't think people should just lose faith in the country like that. Like especially if you belong to that country, you're a citizen of that country, right? Because if shit's to really go down worldwide, you're the country or the citizen that's stated on your passport is the only country that can actually save you from these kind of weird situations. So I don't think you should just like lose faith in your country and be like, oh, I'm out, I'm going away.
No, yeah, you're right. But at the
Like,
same
you should
time,
try
what
to-
they're doing there is like kind of lose faith ability.
I know definitely people were starting to question what's going on, but I just feel like people have to think about a solution. Just like this incident here, right? We see so many crazy things happening in the States, but instead of just feeling like, oh, this is a fucked up situation, this country is doomed, this state is doomed, oh, bye, I'm gonna be out. Maybe try to think about how we can make this better, because every place has their own issue. You can't just like keep on hopping. There's no like utopia out there.
Yeah, there is no utopia. You're right. But at the same time, that's a lot. What's going on there?
And like if you're an American citizen, you can be living in a foreign country, but like think about when COVID comes, you don't have any like health insurance, and those countries are going to evict you.
Yeah,
They're going to deport you. So it's like,
yeah, you're right about that. But yeah, that's it for the video right there, man. Y'all let us know what y'all thought, man. If you had anything to add, go ahead and jump it down in the comments below. If you watched up to this point, thank you. Have a great day, and we'll see you next time.